Guaranteed profit. That's something a lot of CSGO investment YouTubers have promised, yet none have actually delivered. Why? Because guaranteed profit is not a thing, especially not in a volatile market like CSGO skins. One thing we can do is find investments with low risk. In this video I'll show you the very best safe CSGO investment, which I've actually used to make over $1,000 with only a couple hours worth of work. Now before we get started, I quickly wanted to thank you for reaching 500 subscribers. We're still giving away this AK Asiimov, so make sure to join using the link in the description. Ever since the 7-day trade hold was put into place, quick trading skins has been very risky. We've seen the skin market make moves of 50% in a week multiple times in recent years, which would mean you lose half of your portfolio during a single trade hold. That's why this strategy contains no trading, except for the initial purchase. Instead, we will be renting out our skins using LootBear. LootBear is a website where CSGO players can rent skins from a catalog of over $4.5 million worth of skins. Now, these skins do not belong to LootBear themselves, but rather to other players that deposit their skins to LootBear and get a daily payment in return. This payment can range from just a couple of cents to multiple dollars a day, depending on the value of the skin. In a bit we will discuss what items are best to rent out and how much you could realistically make doing this. But first, let's talk safety. If this seems too good to be true, I get it. That's what I thought too. But I've been using LootBear services now for a couple of years and I've never had any major problems. LootBear uses an advanced user authentication service, which requires renters to provide their national ID and have a valid credit card that can be charged with at least the amount of the value of your rented skins. This means that if the skin does get stolen, you will be paid the current value of the skin plus some extra compensation. But I've never met a single user that had their skin stolen on LootBear. Let's continue by discussing what items to rent out. Any item above the value of $20 can be rented out, but from my experience I've seen that knives are probably the most profitable items on LootBear. When choosing which specific item you want to rent out, there is a couple of factors you want to consider to maximize your profits. First of all, we want our item to be rented out as often as possible, so we need an item that has some decent demand. Finding these items can be done by searching them up on LootBear. When you do this, you will see this screen. Right here it shows which items are currently available on LootBear. We want there to be only a couple available options, but we also want to see some trade locked items, which means that they are rented out very often. I, being a systematic numbersman, usually set up a small spreadsheet. We list all items that fulfill the previous requirements. After we've created a list of interesting items, we will select the very best option out of these. Start by writing down the LootBear price, which can be found right here. Now we find the price for which we could buy the skin. To do so, visit DMarket and search for the skin on DMarket. Sort by price and find the cheapest one. If you use the link in the description, you will be massively helping out the channel, while also getting the very best deals on DMarket, one of the cheapest CSGO marketplaces out there. Now we can divide the renting price by the purchase price to get a factor of how good this deal is. We want this factor to be as high as possible. I would say anything above 1.2 is decent, but of course you'll just be picking the items that are highest in your spreadsheet. Okay, we found the very best item to rent out. Now, how do we calculate our earnings? I'll be calculating these numbers using my own experience for the last couple of years. These might not be 100% accurate for you, but at least they'll give you some insight. LootBear promises at least a 3% monthly return if the item is constantly rented out. My items are not constantly rented out. On average, they are rented out at least 70 to 80% of the time, giving us a 2.25% monthly return. This might not immediately seem like a lot, but in the longer term these small payments will add up. Especially if you keep growing your LootBear inventory, this can become a good source of passive income. When my inventory was at its peak value, I was making somewhere along the lines of $5 to $6 a day, coming out to $150 to $180 each month without doing anything. During the time that I was renting out these items, the knives also more than doubled in value, which was a nice bonus. Overall, I think LootBear could be a great part of everyone's investment portfolio. Now, there is much higher profits up for grabs in the CSGO market, but especially in a market as volatile as CS's, a safe investment is always something that should be in your portfolio, even if it's only a small part of your investments. This video was not sponsored, and I've genuinely been using these services for a long time. That being said, if you want to help out the channel, please consider joining LootBear and DMarket through the links in the description. This will give me a small reward, while you get to enjoy all the benefits of DMarket and LootBear. For now, that's all I have to say. See you in the next video.